guys, welcome back to my channel. So we are going on another little ride along with me. So today I wanted to talk with you guys a little bit about relationships. I'm a relationship coach. We're continuing on with our 355 days of vlogging. So I felt like it would be good for us to spend a little bit more time talking about relationships in general. A lot of my content is around that. But something that comes up quite a bit when I'm meeting with different clients is, how do I get past attracting toxic relationships into my life? Like the question of, Veronica, why do I keep finding myself in relationships with toxic people or attracted to the bad girl or the bad boys? We're going to talk a little bit about that today. So there are a few different schools of thought on this, and I'm just going to share with you some of the ones that resonate the most with me and the people that I've worked with thus far. It seems to be a pretty popular topic when we're looking at our attachment styles and who we tend to be attracted to. Often that has a lot to do with how we were raised. I know that we've talked about this before on my channel about attachment styles, and I did a class all about attachment styles with another life coaching friend. But basically it boils down to, in our adult life, we are trying to heal wounds from childhood by seeking out a partner who mirrors those same wounds that we had. And sometimes, especially if you're not conscious of what is going on, of what you're doing, it's harder to heal. So it's not like you being in a relationship with someone who's also wounded is necessarily good for you, but your subconscious is telling you that there's something that needs to be addressed, that you have an attachment style that you developed in your childhood that is still there, that wound is still there, and it's not serving you. So until you address that and begin to heal, you're going to continue to attract the type of person that is going to mistreat you, that's not going to appreciate you, that's not going to love you, because you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself. Or maybe they will treat you right on occasion, or they are loving you the best that they can. They're still mirroring back to you a part of that energy that you have within yourself that needs to be cleansed. So sometimes too, especially if we're looking at people who have a relationship with God, and then you end up in a relationship with a partner who doesn't have a relationship with, or you feel like you constantly have to earn their trust or earn their love and affection. That part of you in childhood that felt like you always needed to earn love and affection still exists, right? That your inner child still believes that this is true, that I can't have a relationship where I'm receiving love from the other person unless I've earned it. So you're not going to look for a relationship with someone who already loves you unconditionally. That's not even an option in your mind, because your inner child knows how to receive love this one way, by earning it. So in order to shift that perspective, we first have to acknowledge what's going on. Because what you'll hear a lot of people say, or what I'll hear a lot of people say, is like, oh, there are no good men out there. There are really not any single women out there who are good women. And it's not true. It's just you're only attracting one type of person because of this pre-programming that you've had in your mind. So what we're focusing on is retraining our mind so that we can start to become a match for the right person, right? We can start to become a match for the individual that God has for our lives, the best that God has for our lives. And I'll do a quick story time with you guys too. I was talking with another content creator, and they said something along the lines of, it doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that we should love ourselves, but in the Word it commands that husbands love their wives. In Ephesians 5:28 it says, he who loves his wife loves himself. And then if we're thinking about the first commandment in the Bible, it says for us to love the Lord God with everything that we are, and then also to love your neighbor as yourself. So to think that we can love other people without first properly loving ourselves is out of order, right? So if a man loves his wife the way that he loves himself, but then he doesn't love himself at all, how well can you love your spouse? God chose us. If we have a healthy, loving relationship with God, it's easier for us to have a healthy, loving relationship with ourselves, because we don't deserve that, right? We know it. That's one of the things that makes it so hard to love ourselves at times is because we know all of the things that we've done that are wrong. We know all of the desires of our heart, and there's this judgment and feeling of unworthiness, right? Like our flesh, the enemy will remind you, you're not worthy of love. But then if you remember, wait, God says that I'm worthy, and you have a relationship with your Creator, and it's constantly your constant communion with God. God's constantly reminding you, you're my child. I have called you worthy of love. And once you accept that, we can begin to pour out into other people that same love and affection. But if I was watching another person on YouTube the other day, and he was saying how we attract to ourselves what we pour into ourselves. So what you continue to pour into yourself, you continue to attract more of that. So you can continue to receive more of that. So if you were to say like God or the universe, you could say, I believe in God myself, but that the more energy I focus on pouring hatred into myself, or the more time I spend pouring thoughts and feelings of self-doubt and criticism, the more the universe says, or the more the law of attraction says, oh, okay, I see that you like feeling depressed. Okay, I see that you like feeling inadequate and unworthy. And you mentioned that you want a partner. I'm going to make sure to bring you someone that is going to continue to mirror back those thoughts and feelings that you have about yourself, that you keep feeding your spirit with the music that you're listening to that might be depressing all the time, or talking about men who view women as objects or being cheated on. That's the type of content that you're pouring into your spirit. That must be what you want in your reality. So then you keep attracting that back to you. So what we want to start to do, we talked about retraining your mind, and we want to start to reframe those negative narratives so we can start attracting back into ourselves more of what we want. By starting off with pouring into ourselves more of who we want to be, more of how we want to feel about ourselves. So that's important. I don't know if anyone else out there might be struggling with self-love and putting that on the back burner. It's definitely a first thing. God, and then yourself. Watch your relationships change. I love you guys so much. If you have questions or comments, please share. I always love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.